Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright, people. Martin Bakole defeats Tony Yoka. I actually can't believe I'm saying this after seeing this fight. A 10-round majority decision. Unbelievable that I'm saying majority decision, because this fight, people say you put destruction in the title a lot. Well, this fight justifies it because it was one-way destruction from start to finish. The only round I gave Tony Yoka in this fight was the 7th round. And even that round, I wouldn't complain if someone gave it to Yoka or someone gave it to Bakole, because Yoka was beaten from pillar to post in this fight. How in God's name? I cannot... that fight was 10 rounds, and I cannot even make a case for Yoka winning more than a round. How in God's name, with 2 knockdowns, someone can score that fight draw is beyond me. Because they didn't actually announce the... See, they read the scorecards out in French. I don't speak French. The majority of people who watch my videos don't speak French, so... And probably watching the fight didn't speak French. So we couldn't figure out what they were until we hit Twitter and we see people leaving links to it. I think one judge had it 95, 93. That was too close. They were trying to rob Martin Bakole over there in France. Thankfully, it was such a beating that that really would have been the robbery of the century, seriously, if they'd have given that fight to Tony Yoka. Because Bakole did kind of look, because Bakole speaks French, and he kind of looked a bit puzzled. And I was thinking, surely not, they're not going to announce Yoka as the winner. And thankfully they didn't. Right man got the decision. Let's talk about this fight. So, I thought Tony Yoka would win this fight. I thought he'd win it on points. Especially more so when I saw Bakole coming in the 270s. Now, Bakole's weight has fluctuated throughout his career. There's been times he's been in the 240s, 250s, etc. And I just kind of thought the 270s, he might be a bit too heavy. He's not the fastest heavyweight you've ever seen. He might not have the work rate either to be able to do enough to get the decision. He might get outworked and possibly stop late by Tony Yoka. Now, one thing I didn't factor in was the strength difference. Yoka realised very early on, pretty much straight away in that fight, he was like, I cannot match this guy with strength. Martin Bakole was ragdolling Yoka in there at points. And he realised that pretty quick. And he just decided, on the back foot, on the bike, try and pick this fight up on points, win it on the back foot. The problem with that is Yoka, even in his amateur career, he struggled a bit with guys who would pressure him. He struggled with that. And in his pro career, he's never really had to face a pressure fighter. You know, I mean, you'd probably say that the biggest pressure fighter he's fought, would you even go as far as saying Dave Allen? If that's the biggest pressure fighter you fought, that's reaching, that's reaching to go from that to Bakole, because Bakole was looking to pressure from early on. I think he realised that he was stronger than Yoka, and that Yoka couldn't match him for strength, and that Yoka was looking to box. So Bakole, very intelligently, was switching his attacks very well, and he was picking when to fight as well, because I think Bakole knew, I cannot keep up any kind of good tempo in this fight. I'm going to need to pick my shots very well, economical with my shots, and I'm going to want to commit to throwing hard shots. Having said that, the jab for Martin Bakole was very good in this fight. Tony Yoka, one of his best strengths is the jab, and there was times he was getting out jabbed by Martin Bakole. Bakole's jab was actually reaching the target before Yoka, and he was having some very good success with the jab. But primarily it was the body attacks. He was lighting Tony Yoka with some vicious body attacks, was sinking them in from early on. Yoka had the worst first round he could have had. Yoka, in that first round, he threw it. I want to say there was about a minute and a half gone in the first round. He threw a right hand and missed. And Bakole threw what looked like a little cuffing left hook. Go back and watch it. He threw like a little left hook, but it landed right on the top of Yoka's head. And I saw instantly when that landed, Yoka's legs were kind of... Do you remember when Amir Khan would get rocked? Where Amir Khan's legs would kind of go like that. He kind of moved back and they'd shake a bit. It was kind of like that. It was very similar to when Amir Khan would get rocked. And I thought, he's hurt. And there was an uppercut as well that Yoka landed on, or that Bakole landed on Yoka in that first round. And again, his legs just didn't look right. And I was looking at this, and I was thinking, his legs don't look steady. But the commentary team, who wasn't the best, they were speaking English, they weren't the best, they didn't pick it up. And I was like, no, Yoka's hurt. Yoka's hurt in that first round. And Bakole then, towards the back end of the round, landed a right hand, which really did hurt Yoka, hurt him bad. And he followed up with a shot, but Yoka ended up taking the knee. And I was looking at that fight thinking, it's happening. The pressure is actually telling. Yoka hasn't got at it to keep Martin Bakole off with him. He wasn't really throwing the right hand. When he was missing it. The jab wasn't doing enough. He was losing the jab battle at times. And I remember just thinking after that first round, it cannot get much worse. Well, it did, because in the second round, Yoka was flicking the jab out a little bit more, but he was still just the clean, effective shots. The eye-catching shots were landed by Martin Bakole. He was very economical with his shots. He was switching his shots up very well to head and body. He was able to close the range very well with Tony Yoka. His footwork looked very good in this fight as well. You got to understand that it's not just the hand department. Your footwork plays a big role. I mean, like, if you have good feet, you're able to actually be able to cut the ring off. You're able to get in and out and pressure people. You're just using your feet. And you're also able to tire your opponent out mentally, because you might not be doing much, but because your footwork is good, they're just thinking, all right, what am I looking for? Is he in? Or he's gone. So it was great work from Bakole again in the second round. It looked like he broke Tony Yoka's nose, because his nose was, and it did look broken, was bleeding profusely. And I think it was either the blood was getting into his mouth, or there was a cut in Yoka's mouth as well at the same time, because Yoka was just, it just couldn't have been a more one-sided fight. I was looking at this and I was thinking, is he going to stop Tony Yoka? Because it's a matter of time. And even in the rounds, like the sixth round, where Tony Yoka actually done quite well in that round, towards the back end of that round, he gets hit by a right hand from Bakole, and he ends that round getting buzzed again. And of course I gave that round to Bakole. In the fifth round, Yoka appeared to hurt his foot. So Bakole hit him with, I think it was a right hand, and it looked like, I thought it was a delayed reaction. But it did appear that he kind of tweaked his ankle a bit. It didn't look like it could have been just the way he landed when he put his foot down. But he went down. Referee called that a knockdown as well. That one was a little bit more. I could say he hurt himself there. So I could let him away with that if he didn't call it a knockdown. But again, even in the back end of this fight, where I thought, okay, Bakole put a good bit into the first few rounds. He was economical with his shots, but he was still throwing haymakers. When he did miss, he missed because he was swinging and missing when he did miss. And I thought maybe I think that was what Team Yoka were banking on. They were just thinking, keep him working. If he wants to outwork me, he can, but he'll gas late. He didn't gas to the extent that Team Yoka were hoping for, in my opinion. It was a case of, he slowed down. He wasn't as quick as he was early on, but he was definitely nowhere near enough to bother, or nowhere near enough for Yoka to get a foothold. And again, Bakole was just finding Yoka, landing good shots on him. He was goading Tony Yoka at stages. He wanted Tony Yoka in the center of the ring. I think Bakole was smart with that, because he was like, I'm well ahead. I'm not following you around the ring. You're going to come to me. I'm going to goad you. And it was just simple as that. In the last round, Tony Yoka, for the last 40 seconds, barely threw a punch. Not because he was tired, because I think by that stage he just realised the right was on the wall. I'm tired of getting hit by this guy. I can't hurt him. I can't put a dent in him. He's too goddamn strong. It's just back to the drawing board. I think with Tony Yoka, he's trained by Virgil Hunter. I thought originally that partnership might work well. I'm thinking now maybe Yoka needs someone like a Joe Goosen. Because I think he's lacking aggression. He's lacking physicality. I think he needs to get some of that in his arsenal. And maybe someone like that could bring, if he's content on going to America and base himself over there, which I'm assuming he is, maybe he needs a trainer who's going to teach him the fine art of aggression, as opposed to, just keeping on the back foot. And I rate Virgil Hunter as a trainer, but maybe just this partnership just won't work. I think a heavyweight Yoka, this is going to happen against Bakole, and Bakole's a good fighter. He's never going to be able to step up if he's getting just ragdolled by these guys. You look at someone like Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois will be a similar level. Obviously, Yoka is a bit more further ahead in his career than Dubois, but Dubois has made a habit of just ragdolling people. Someone like Dubois would be able to ragdoll Tony Yoka up and down that ring, and it could get very ugly for Tony Yoka, because Dubois is a better puncher, in my opinion, than Bakole. That kind of fight could get ugly, real quick for Tony Yoka if he's not able to handle it. And so I think he needs to change that. In terms of everything else, it was a good fight. It's just bizarre scorecards, disgraceful. It's just happening too frequently in boxing. I mean, how in God's name you could score? The only way you could score that fight a draw is if you're a corrupt you know what. That's the only way you could score that fight a draw. No one objectively could look at that fight and say it's a draw, because it wasn't. It was not a draw. Like, how you get that scorecard, get rid of that judge, whoever the hell he was, or she, I don't know who it was. But that's my thoughts on this fight. Let me know yours in the comment section. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the fight if you got a chance to watch it. It was a good fight. Watch it again. It was actually a good fight. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hope you enjoyed it, lads and lassies. Smash the like button. Peace.